So it is exactly 11 a.m. and we are going to begin now. We are live on Facebook. Elvis, kindly come forward and you'll assist with the camera. Once again, my name is Arnold Kekonge. I'm the team lead for the Champions for SDGs Youth organization that is hosting this event today. So I would like you all to feel at home, and learn as much as you can from today's session. Ask as many questions as you would wish, because it is important that we all get to understand what the Sustainable Development Goals are. So at this point, allow me once again to share with you the schedule for the sake of those who came in a bit later. So from 11 to around 11:15, I'm just going to give you a brief background of Champions for SDGs Youth. And after that, I'm going to invite our guest speakers of the day to share with us knowledge on the background of Sustainable Development Goals. We get some updates on our progress as a country in the implementation and realization of the Sustainable Development Goals. And we'll also look at opportunities for us all to engage to contribute to Agenda 2030. So by that time, that will be around get contributions from our participants, both physical and virtual. And then after that, we are going to close. So once again, at this point, allow me to invite you to share with you a few slides that will give you a background of what we've been doing as Champions for SDGs Youth in the past 3 years that we've been creating awareness on Sustainable Development Goals. Champions for SDGs Youth was founded in March 2019. So this March, it marks 3 years since the foundation of the youth organization. And our programs are educational or informational in nature, and they revolve around the Sustainable Development Goals. We've covered quite a number of topical issues addressing particular SDGs, and most notably SDG number 3, which is good health and well-being. Under this, we've done sessions on mental health and sessions on reproductive health. Under SDG number 4, we've done a general session on education for sustainable development, which is addressed specifically by target number 4.7 of this particular goal. And later, we had an in-depth look on how technology can be harnessed to contribute to education for sustainable development. We try to incorporate all other goals in the different activities that we do, as you will see in the next few slides. So in 2019, most of the engagements were physical, and most notably during the International Youth Day, we had quite an interactive session right here where we are today, still speaking on how youth could engage in the SDGs conversations from their communities, their subnational levels, national levels, continental levels, and up to the global levels. In 2020, we transitioned onto virtual activities, and we did a total of 16 activities. Those were 13 information sessions, 2 youth dialogues, and a tweet chat. This was informed by the COVID-19 pandemic, as you are aware. And some of the topics that we covered during that time include mental health and young people, youth engagement for climate action, youth engagement for global action, reproductive health and young people, technology, this one I've mentioned, and we did one on employability, one looking at the circular economy, which falls under SDG number 13, and the importance of STEM, popularly known as science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, in sustainable development. And all the live recordings of these activities are up on our Facebook page, so in case anyone would like to revisit, they are welcome to visit the Facebook page where they'll be able to check the conversations that they are interested in. So in 2021, we also did a lot of virtual activities, and some of them, 2 of them were similar to the one we're having today, to introduce people, particularly young people, to the Sustainable Development Goals. And one of them was a Valentine's Day visit to a children's home. The other one was on youth employability. And the others were about education, circular economy, reproductive health, mental health, STEM, as I mentioned in the summary. And then we had one on value-driven leadership, where we had 2 expert speakers come and address this important topic that will drive not only our country but also our continent forward on matters sustainable development. We also did mental health and SDGs session in collaboration with the Yali Alumni Chapter of Kenya, where we had alumni who are in the field of mental health come and address this particular topic. We also, during the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, we also organized a session where we had youth experts on specific issues of regarding this topic come and converse around ending gender-based violence. So this year, so far, we've done 2 activities. One of them was a youth dialogue at the University of Nairobi. Some of you might have been part of it, in collaboration with the SDGs Forum and the Student Union of the University of Nairobi. And then we also engaged participants during the People's Dialogue Festival most recently at museums, where also I guess some of you were part of it. So now onto our 3rd activity, which is this information session on the Sustainable Development Goals for young people. So I would like to highlight once again these targets. The SDGs, yes, they are 17 goals. However, within the goals, we have targets for each goal. And I would like to especially mention the target number 4.7 of SDG 4, because it forms the basis of the sessions that we conduct from time to time, which are aimed at enhancing the levels of information among young people on the SDGs. So target number 4.7 says, by 2030, ensure that all learners acquire the knowledge and skills needed to promote sustainable development, including, among others, through education for sustainable development and sustainable lifestyles, human rights, gender equality, promotion of a culture of peace and non-violence, global citizenship, and appreciation of cultural diversity and of culture's contribution to sustainable development. As Africans, we come from cultures, and sometimes the cultures really inform how we do things or how we end up in terms of what we do in life and many things that happen from day to day. So, having said that, this slide is just to invite you to engage with our digital platforms, and particularly Facebook is where we usually send all the live recordings of our events. So in case anyone missed it, they can always get back to it and listen what was the conversation about, what did I miss, how can I contribute. You're welcome to engage in the chat section. And experts on the topic or anyone else who would like to engage in the conversation, you can always respond to you or we can engage each other. For those who are not yet members of Champions by SDGs Youth, there are two ways to sign up to be members. First of all, you go to Facebook, the Facebook page, and then click on the sign up button right at the home page. Or go to the LinkedIn page and then click on sign up button on the home page. So again, at this point, let me mention to the physical participants that we have internet access in the room. So in case you'd like to make use of it, the password has been placed on the wall, so you can look and get the password and be able to engage online or on Twitter to be specific. So right now, once again, let me share the schedule. So this is, I still have about 2 minutes. So I'll use these 2 minutes to just highlight who are going to speak to us today. So today we have 3 speakers or guest speakers who are going to speak to us. One of them is from the S.R.H.R University SDG Hub. The other is from the State Department for Planning, and the other is from just civil society organizations engaging in sustainable development goals. And the State Department for Planning is the organ within the government responsible for the sustainable development goals. I don't know how many of you already knew this, but usually all governments get to report on progress made in the implementation and realization of the SDGs through the Minister of Planning. For our case, it's the Minister for the National Treasury and Planning. Who knows? Who knows him? Nobody knows our Minister for the National Treasury and Planning. Yes, you can speak loudly. Yes, very well. So I know we'll be able to get more insights as time goes by. So since it's now 11:15, I'd like to welcome Samuel Mue from this Strathmore University SDG Hub. First of all, Samuel, welcome to the space. And it's the first time we're engaging through, we haven't met, but we've engaged on LinkedIn. And now here we are connected on a similar objective. So kindly, Samuel, come. You're welcome, and you can introduce yourself again, tell us why you're passionate about the Sustainable Development Goals. So again, you can give us a brief on how the SDGs came about and help us understand what are the Sustainable Development Goals about. Karibu sana Samuel. Let's clap for him as he comes to speak.
Right. Hi everybody. Thank you so much, Arnold, for the introduction. So, as he said, my name is Sam. I just go by Sam Mue. Currently, as I said before, in my third year at Strathmore University. Yeah, I study international relations. So, apart from that, I am the SDG coordinator for the Strathmore SDG Hub. So, just a bit about, I just call it the Hub. So, we are part of the global program under SDSN Youth. So therefore, they set up hubs in different universities across the globe in a bid to ensure that universities becomes a place where people can learn and engage about the SDGs. So basically, my work is to see how do I involve people at Strathmore and of course the community around, and of course, so I mean like the region at large. How do I ensure that we transform our space into a place where people can talk about SDGs, they can interact with them, and also act upon the SDGs. So we actually do work on all 17 of them in different ways, in different capacities. I have a vibrant team full of people who help in terms of planning events, advocacy work. Some of the things that we do is we plan awareness weeks. Actually, we have one coming up in April. We have a climate awareness week coming up. We do workshops, we do forums, we do conferences. We do like this personalized one-on-one programs. We also do a mentorship program with different homes, like Wings of Hope, Rebirth of a Queen. We try to see how do we mentor these young girls who have been sexually abused, and also see how can we also integrate them back into society, and also how do we ensure they actually finish their education. So we help them get scholarships to schools, university, they finish the whole cycle. Yeah, that's the hub for me. So when it comes to the SDGs, so back in the day, back in 2000 actually, it was Kofi Annan who actually began the whole conversation about having goals that really encompass everybody. So we actually began with the MDGs, which are the Millennium Development Goals. There are about 8, but the problem with them, they're very focused on like African problems, and like eradicating malaria, disease, like this, everything. Like it was like only 8 problems, and they felt like they're just for like third world countries. Therefore, they're not applicable for everybody. So therefore, like when it came around to 2015, 2012 actually, they met in Rio, and they were able now to discuss this new goals, the SDGs, which are more sustainable. The SDGs, they include everybody. It's not just like problems for ATIA, these people, it's literally global problems that are affecting every one of us. I think that's what makes the SDGs unique from the MDGs, because MDGs were just focused on like specific group, but the SDGs are very sustainable. One of the things I like about them is the fact that they say that leave no man behind, right? It's a matter of saying how do we ensure every single person is moving with us. The moment one person does not progress or develop in line with the SDGs, we are failed, because we need to move together as one. If we're all fighting climate change and in one area is still polluting, doing all those nasty things, we are failed. And that's the beautiful thing about it. Also, the hard part about it, we have how do we bring everybody together with SDGs. For me, when I look at the SDGs, I know there's 17, they seem so like big, so massive, but I look at them in three ways. And I told you guys I like to bake, so I think of it as like a cake. So like the first one there at the bottom, are the social goals. For me, I call them the social goals, which are like now SDG number 1, like no poverty, SDG number 2, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality. Yeah, SDG number 10. Those are the more the social goals that focus on society, right? You see, they focus on how we operate in society. Then the second level, I look at now the environmental goals, right? Actually, the economic goals. The economic goals include SDG number 8, decent work and growth, SDG number 9, industrial innovation, SDG number 12, responsible consumption and production, SDG number 17, partnership for the goals. And now we have the climate, the environmental goals, which are now like, 7, 13, 14, 15. So the reason why I think about it that way is because SDGs have those three parts to it. They have the social aspect, the environmental, and of course the economic aspect to it, right? And that's what it makes it sustainable. How do you consider the economic, the social, and the environmental together? How do you ensure that what you do actually balances out between the three things? Yeah. Basically, even in business, we have the three P's, right? People, profit, and planet. Yeah. How do you ensure what you're doing actually protects the planet, protects people, right? And you're still able to get your profits. Yeah. So now that's the big thing about SDGs. How do you balance between those three things? And that's how we actually become sustainable. Yeah. People say sustainability is about ensuring that what we use up now, people in future generations can still use up to the same measure and still even leave some for people coming forward. So that's like the key things about the SDGs. And I feel like we all know like what they encompass. Of course, each goal has targets. I think there are around 163 targets. Each goal has like sub-targets, which are not each meant to be achieved. And also, there are also indicators. Yeah, these are indicators that are meant to help us see, right? Are we achieving these goals? Are we actually even anywhere close to them? And that's why states can actually report and be like, fine, we are 60% to achieving this target. We're 10% achieving this target. And I guess when we have the person from the State Department, they will tell us more about the actual figures on the ground. Yeah. So before I move on, I'd just like to know what are your favorite SDG? Like which one are you like most passionate about? I'd ask you, which SDG are you passionate about? Zero hunger. Why?
Can I say that this is a must have one?
Maybe you have a example, yeah.
Zero hunger, no poverty, quality education, and reduce inequalities. Because they try to link it in a way that if you are poor, then of course hunger will be there. And then education, it's not possible for you to access education when you're hungry and poverty. And then it reduced inequalities in the sense whereby, regardless of your age, sex, race, or whatever, your race, you are treated equally. Yeah, that's how I try to link all this in because they lead to something. Yeah.
That's quite remarkable. And he has brought up a good point about the SDGs. As much as everyone is focusing on one thing, everything is very interconnected. Yeah, like the moment you're solving one SDG, you're immediately acting upon another, and that's the beautiful thing about the SDGs. If we all focus on our areas, if I think we're almost 17 here, if each of us has got a goal and we all work on our goals individually, imagine how that would be collectively together. So that aspect brings about is, for me, the goal I like the most is number 17, partnership with the goal, right? We must come together, you, me, and everybody, yeah? Because without each other, and what are we doing? Because everyone comes with their own expertise, comes with their own skills, comes with knowledge, resources, everything, right? When we come together, we're like a powerful team to go to actually solve the problem. Because some of the things out there require cooperation. For example, climate change. I know for me, climate change is something I'm very passionate about. So like climate change, Africa, somehow, we don't produce much pollution, but we are facing the most consequences. And we lack the resources to do it. However, the West, they promised to give us 100 billion in climate financing, but they have not given us. We had COP26 in Glasgow, nothing happened, no commitments, no money. Now you're left wondering, what do you do now? So now we need to see how do you now foster deeper partnerships? How do you now foster that? Which is hard, with all the geopolitics out the globe, Russia, all those things. But nonetheless, we need to remain very resilient. And at the heart of this year, our theme is resilience, right? We're working to see how do we ensure that our members, the youth around us, are resilient. Because I feel like At this day and age, you need to be resilient. Like there's so much crap going around, so much things that are affecting our lives, like the pandemic, just other personal life things. But at the end of the day, you need to be resilient as a youth. You need to say, I have all these problems, but how do I overcome them? And that's the only way we can achieve SDGs, by being resilient youth. Yeah? And seeing the problem and saying, you know what, I will go for it and I will do it. And you overcome. So hopefully, I hope that you guys will take that one with you. So another key thing about the SDGs for me that I really try to do is, so I know the SDGs, they seem like they're, they'll put you, they're for the governments, they're for, the minister of planning will do it. Watching the UN, when they go to New York, they will discuss and say, we'll do this, do that. But to be honest, SDGs are very personal. Like for me, it's about you, it's you and me. Forget about everyone else. It begins with you and me, right here, right now. So for me, that's why I advocate for people to personalize the SDGs, but make them very personal. Don't be like, someone out there will do it. Who's the someone? Who will do it? Me, I'm curious to know. Because it begins with you saying, I live here, I see this, I'll do that. It begins simple as that. Because if you say you wait for those people to come and do this and do that, they will never come and they'll never do it. So that's why I advocate for a sense that people should kind of bring the SDGs down, break it down, just take one and break it down to you and yourself and be like, right, in my community, I see a problem. I see litter. I see trash when I walk, I see trash. What do you do about that simple problem that's in your community, just like that? And that's how you begin change. And that's how you actually begin action on the SDGs. Don't wait at, I need to be funded on a project. I need 100 million to do X, Y, Z, to do this. No. You have to start somewhere. And it begins by you personalizing the SDGs and bringing them to your community, right? For example, if I live in Sokimau and I walk there and I be like, there's so much litter here. What can you do? Do you go talk to your MCA, be like, sir, please put out trash cans, whatever? Would you organize a day to go collect trash? Would you do an awareness about pollution and the like? What do you do about it? I'm very personal level. So advocate for you guys. Look at your community, right? And wherever you live, find a problem, whatever it is, whether it be pollution, whether it be abusing of women, whether it be like people not going to school. There's so much, right? It's a matter of you being like, right, what do you see and what can you do about it? And that now comes down to like my biggest thing I advocate for, which is about passion. Yeah, someone needs to have passion for what you're doing, right? Passion will keep you going, right? Like for me, I know I am passionate about the SDGs. That's why I'll always talk about them. I'll always act upon them. I will do everything for them. I will be resilient. Yeah. So for me, it's a matter of developing passion, right? Pick an SDG. There's 17. Even those 17, there are other like sub SDGs basically. Find one thing and become good at it. Yeah. Go research about it. Go learn more about it. See what people are doing about it. Yeah. See what you can do differently, right? So, for example, if you take SDG number, let's say number 6, water and sanitation. Yeah. You look at the targets, things like ending like open defecation, such things. Fine. You look at that one thing and be like, right, look at the community. What can you do about it? Yeah. You go research about it. You talk to stakeholders, the government, civil society, other NGOs doing this work, and you find a way forward. Yeah, I think the biggest thing just do not be scared. Just focus and follow your passion, and you'll be able to get that. Um, so let me just take you through a quick thing about being able to identify problems in society. Just like a quick guide on the steps of how to do it. It is in a bit because I want you to become more aware as you move around, always to be aware and to look and be like, fine, what is happening in my community? Because it begins with us. So, right. So, the first thing to do is, you have to think about is what is the problem you're trying to solve, right? You have to think about what problem is it. So, in a community, what problem is that you find, yeah? And what's the problem, yeah? Then number 2, think about it. Why is it important? Yeah. Why must you address this problem? Yeah. So the first step will be done by trying to be like, alright, what am I solving for? So now this requires you to look around your community and be like, okay, I'm seeing, people are using potatoes too much. Potatoes here are polluting a lot of carbon dioxide, and that's bad for the environment. You look at that, or you see how the policies that you guys have with the community are not equal and fair, right? We see what's the problem. That's number one. You have to see the problem. Number two, you have to realize why it is important. The why is very important. Because if you have the why, it will motivate you to keep going. Yeah. Even when you talk to stakeholders, you'll be like, it's important because of X, Y, Z. So you need to also know the why. Yeah. Number three, you have to know who are the beneficiaries, right? Who are the people who are going to benefit from this? Yeah. So who are you trying to help? Are you helping a small group of women, be able to sell their produce in the marketplace? Are you trying to ensure that this group of students actually get to go to school, and they have the resources for education? Yeah. So who are the beneficiaries, right? Then now, furthermore, like now, when you combine all these things together, you're able to combine the what the problem is, the why, and the who you're trying to target. And therefore, from there, you kind of create, a problem statement. I have this problem. It is important because of this, and it's going to affect these people. Yeah. And from there now, you're able now to begin to see, like, right, you have a problem statement and you have like a vision, right? And the people you're trying to help are these ones now. Then from there now, I believe you're able now to create like an action plan, and be like, fine, if I know who I want to help and I know why, I know what the problem is, you begin to develop an action plan of what to do next. Be like, right, I know who's been affected. Now you have to look at the stakeholders who are involved, right? So are there specific NGOs, government agencies that need to be involved, right? You look at them. For example, if it's education, Ministry of Education, looking at other people like UNESCO, who deal with education, you have to begin by looking at the stakeholders and what they have to offer. And then this has to begin to act and begin somewhere. I think as I finish up, because I don't like talking for long, and I like for us to have a more interactive session. The biggest thing is to start. Yeah, I think sometimes you just get scared and you're worried, like, how XYZ work out, how this big person fund my idea, or how people receive the idea. But I think when you just begin and you learn as you go, right? Of course, you won't figure everything out in day one. I think even me, sometimes I worry, I'm like, okay, my plan, I want to plan out my whole year right now, but you can't do that. So the moment you begin to learn in the job, as you interact with the community, you improve yourself, you improve your ideas. As you interact with stakeholders, they give you tips, and you do this, do that, and don't do that. My parting shot would be three things: passion, resilience, and creating networks. Yeah. So when I mean passion, like you need to be passionate about what you're trying to solve. Yeah. Otherwise, you will get tired in the first day and you'll be like, peace out, see you later. Be passionate. Be passionate and be passionate. Let people feel your passion. Right? When you feel your passion, you'll be like, whatever that girl is doing, I want to be part of it. I want to know what they're doing. I want to know why. And for passion, you need to know the why. Why are you doing it? I'm doing it because I want to see a better community. I'm doing it because I want to live in a world that there's no more climate degradation, right? In a beautiful environment, such things. The passion is very important. Resilience is very key, right? It will keep you going. You need to be resilient. People out there won't be happy with you. Some will not like what you're doing. Some will like, you don't want your idea. Some will tell you, don't do this. Sometimes there'll be no money, no fun, but you need to be resilient because you're focused. You know where you want to go and where you want to be. Yeah? So be resilient. And lastly, make networks and make friends. For example, you can't do it alone. Yeah? Network. Right here, it's a perfect opportunity to network. We are people from different universities, different fields of life. Make a friend or two, or make all of us be your friends. Hit me up and be like, "Hey, Sam, I need help with this. You know someone who does this?" I'll be like, "Right, here's a contact. Do this, do that." So network. Make good friendships. For example, I know heard about me from a friend of my friend. And that's how I got here. It's network, and just do your work very well. Do your work well. Therefore, people will be like, I need someone who can do XYZ. Where are they? I will be like, I know someone called XYZ. Right, you look for them. So make networks, make friends, and don't lose them at all. I think that's it for me. Yeah, that's it. And yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah, that's it for me. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let's clap for him. So you can stay a bit so that you get to engage directly with the And participants, in case there is a question, we can take it now. And then we can move on to the next speaker. So you can engage directly with the audience in case anyone has something to ask or to inquire or to contribute. They can do it at this point concerning the presentation.
Okay. I'm quite late and I'm sorry. I'm called Sadia. I'm from MKU, so Students of Education Science, Chemistry, Biology. It's nice to be here. So I don't know if I was late, so I don't want to say this, but will you just tell me your journey on SDGs? How comes you first got interested? Like, recap on the hardships you have faced and so far, where are you heading? So that me as a starter, I can at least have some view on how you did it.
That's a good question. Okay, let me answer that first. Okay, we can do it.
Please, before you answer, yeah, I'm getting a complaint that those who are online, they can't hear. Maybe you can twist the volume.
All right, thank you for the person who has raised a concern online. Okay, or what we can do, let's just take a moment to check that everyone can hear. So, Peter, kindly, if Peter you can hear me, you can unmute yourself and speak, so that we can check whether we can engage with each other as we check whether the microphone is on. The microphone is on. Eh? Yes. So Peter, could you kindly say something so that we see we can hear you and that you can hear us? Okay, you can hear. Anyone else who can send a message in the chat? Lucky, can you hear us? Or who else? Wangui can. So as soon as you are able to hear us, you can just send a message on the chat and let us know, because we've checked that our microphone is on. All right, audible enough. Thank you, Bayona. So I think we can move on. We can continue with the conversation. If the questions become too many, will you be able to?
No, it's okay. I can
take one?
Yeah, I can run it.
Okay, then you can.
Thank you once again. Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael. For those who come late, I'm a champion for SDGs, passionate about the first 5, and a champion for all of them, actually. So thank you so much, Sam, for your elaborative discussion and insights about SDGs. So I'm asking on behalf. I'm asking on behalf of someone who might not know. You mentioned about the SDGs are grouped into 4 categories. That is the people, the planet, the profit of prosperity, and peace. Kindly, could you elaborate on which SDGs are concerned with the people and planet, prosperity, and peace? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kito. Good presentation, by the way. My question would be, you mentioned earlier that the hub from track you is part of the global SDG. Uh, did did they like approach the institution and founded the club, or did you just found it within the institution? Maybe for us who from other institutions that they don't have that hub for SDGs, how do you go about like initiating that program in our various institutions? Thank you.
Right. Okay. What's what you mean? Okay. This thing is echoing. I need to come this side. Okay. Okay. I'll just come here so it doesn't echo. So let me give the first question. Hopefully I'll answer also the last question about the how and everything. So my journey with SDGs, this is bigger campus, honestly. I think in high school we did a project on MDGs. Like I think one class. I was told go research about them, make a poster. So I went made a poster, did the pictures, all 8 goals. But when I got to campus, the fact I did international studies, of course, we were introduced to the whole idea of SDGs. It's been part of the global agenda for the last couple of years. So I entered university, I heard about them, and I was like, you know what? I need to be there. That is basically myself. So for me, I was like, where is the place? Where is the hub? Who is doing SDGs? What's happening, right? So for me, I knew I wanted to go, so I found the space, right? So my school had asked me, okay, what's happening? What's happening? This club is doing this. Let me go to this club that talks about SDGs. Let me go here and do that. So for me, I knew I wanted to go. So now there's no like it's not even that dramatic. Usually, my first thing I joined MUN, so Model United Nations. I am part of the whole MUN. And see MUN basically the UN and what they do. So of course the whole idea of SDGs becomes a very big deal. So now because of that, I began interacting with them, I learned more about them and what they're all about. Then from my interaction with MUN, I began developing a passion for a few here and there. Then I think the chance came for me to join the hub. And I joined the hub is when I actually began to like, I was thrown the deep end and actually got a chance to really involve myself in SDGs. So in the hub, my first position actually, I was in charge of advocacy work and everything. So I was like, you know what? Let me see, can I make a magazine? So when we end up making a magazine to talk about SDGs, and I was thinking how to involve the youth, with through creative ways. That's more articles, graphic designs, pictures, whatnot. So we were able now to publish like 2 of them. Happy about that. Then also during my MUN years, me and my friend we were talking one night. We were like, you know what? Let's begin an initiative. Yeah, we were late night calls. I think it was like 1 a.m. We were thinking about a few things. Like, we felt like us as like, especially guys in my faculty at school, we lack the opportunities to like develop our skills further as a couple. We don't get enough skills during campus life. And then like we don't have skills that match the job market. Yeah, so like, you know what? Let's say we can go about that. So we began forming an initiative. It's called Together. It is SDG number 4, 5. And it's a work in progress, to be honest. The hardest part about this whole thing is sometimes it's, for me personally, it's clarifying the mind because there's so much up there. And sometimes you have a big heart and you want to solve everything. You want to be, the hero, But sometimes like, you have to like really hone down to like one thing, and really craft and specialize in that one thing then you become the best at that one thing. Because I feel like there's so much to be done. But if you focus on the one thing, I think that's what you're gonna do. Another hardship, especially in the how, is getting guys to feel your passion. Yeah? Because you can be so psyched, so energetic. But someone there is just looking at you like that's fool. And it's hard because you need them to be as passionate as you. So I think about how do I put my passion into them. And that's the hardest part. Getting people on board is for me the hardest part. Like, because not everyone sees them as a big problem. Even my friends who don't do humanities, they're like, actually SDGs, what do mean? What are those? It's them like, hey. But you see, like now is to see how you now, even our friends, even as you go home, talk to your friends about SDG. What's happening? You know this, I feel like we need to talk more about it. Just conversation, like casually, just even the moment there's just even know a bit about it, we go a long way. So I think those are the two biggest challenges I've like faced personally. So Michael, the question is about, the first thing, the things I mentioned were people, profit, and planet. Yeah, but I think more of them to be. It's better to think of them as social goals, environmental, and economic goals. So for example, like SDG number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 16, and 10 are the social goals, which focus on people because they look more like improving the human life and everything, like no poverty, removing it, food, the well-being, education, equalities, justice and peace, right? They are more about the person inside. Now we have the economic goals, like SDG number 8. This is about people having opportunities to work, industry trying to innovate new things. SDG number 11 about society and community. Number 12, production, circular economy. And number 17, partnerships with goals, resources there. And of course, now the environmental one, which are the 4. 7, 13, 14, 15. But either the people, it's not people in the society, planet will be environmental, and then profit is economic. So the 3 P's. The 3 P's come more for like businesses. There are people who do business. You always tell them, think about the 3 P's. People, profit, and planet. Yeah. Hope that's okay. And the last question about the global. So basically, I don't know, do you guys know about SDSN Sustainable Development Solutions Network Youth? It was formed by Ban Ki-moon in like 20, I think before he left, I don't know that year, in 2015, that he formed it in a way to create a place where people can actually push for to push for the ideas and solutions to implement the SDGs. So we call ourselves SDSN. There's now SDSN, like the bigger one. Now there's SDSN Youth, and that's for the youth now for us people. So now under this program, normally what happens is universities get to become members of SDSN Youth, right? They're members, even you, if you have an initiative, you can become a member of SDSN Youth, meaning you are willing to work with them, promoting SDGs and the ideas like that. So now how a hub is formed is if the university becomes a member of SDSN Youth, right, in some shape or form, now they'll be able to form the hub in your university. So currently in Kenya, we have 3. So in Kenya now, there's now the SDSN Youth Kenya, which is actually hosted by Moi University and University of Nairobi. They are the quote unquote like the co-chairs, and of course now there's S.R.H.R. But also there are actually I think like 10 more universities coming up like this year. So I think the best thing would be to ask your administration how can we become a member of SDSN, right? And becoming a member is then committing themselves to work for the SDGs. Because SDSN actually they want to work with universities. Because universities are a good place where there's research happening, there's innovation, all these things happening, right? So universities are a good place because there's a lot of action happening there, right? So the moment universities are able to commit themselves and say, hey, we're actually going to work on SDGs, we'll do all these different things, then SDSN will be like, hey, we work together, collaborate together. So the hub is not going to be like that place where it's buzzing with energy, it's SDGs, yeah, that's it. I think that's good enough. Any other questions before I go to wrap or comments, concerns, anything? Yeah, so my name is Sam. Here my number, we can talk afterwards. I'm always available. But yeah, there you go. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm good. Yeah.
Hello. All right. I'll stand a bit far from the speaker so that you see whether we do not have those echoes and distractions. Let's clap for him once more for sharing that story. Thank you so much for that. So at this point, I'd like to welcome Brenda. Brenda is online. So Brenda, I know you'd like to share a few insights on sustainable development goals. Maybe you can unmute yourself and see whether we can hear you. Brenda? In case you'd like to share a few insights on the Sustainable Development Goals, because you had requested this. You could let us know when you're ready. So I see that we have new participants online. Nuri Amani, karibu sana. Karibu sana to the event today. Brenda says, okay. So they say that the sound wasn't so clear. Nuri, could you let us know whether you can hear us from your end? Nuri? If you can unmute yourself. I can't unmute myself. You should be able to unmute yourself now, Nuri. Yes. Can you go ahead? You can tell us.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, hello.
My name is Amani Nuri, and I'm a fellow from Jali, and also an associate of Arnold. He and I together put the agenda for the Sustainable Development Goals. I'm a huge enthusiast on a few goals, especially the one on quality education and also gender equality and reducing inequality. So Arnold, I think that is all I can say for now. I'll be listening and learning more from other peers present. Thank you so much.
Yes, Nuri, if you allow me just a minute, would you mention something about, I know that you have a project that you are engaging students, high school students on conversations around sustainable development goals through debates. So maybe you can highlight this just briefly in 2 minutes. Is that okay with you? So once we have Nuri back, I don't know if you got the question, but whenever you're ready, you could share with us, because that is all right. Okay. Kindly go ahead. Yes.
All right.
Maybe
Thank you so much.
The project that you are engaged in on sustainable development goals and high school students and what informed it. Just brief, because I find it as such an innovative approach of using debates to.
All right. I work with the schools, and the program is called Intellectual Literacy and Leadership Program. And the general idea for the program is just to provide opportunities to underprivileged students so that they're able to develop academically, ethically, philosophically, and also intellectually. And among the activities that we do in this program include debates, public speaking, creative writing, and high school journalism. The idea is that in Kwale, where I come from, we have a huge problem with the English language. And students are failing in the national examinations, not because they are dumb, but because they cannot understand the language that they are taught. So the program is to inspire them to love English and also be able to understand more when it comes to questions that are asked in an examination. So one way to equip them is using debates, public speaking, and other various activities. But I thought, in as much as I'm going to influence their behavior and also promote English language in the schools, I want to nurture the next generation of leadership. And I am a firm believer of servant leadership. And that means whoever is going to be in leadership roles later on, they have to understand what is going on in the world right now, what has happened before, and even what is going on in the future. And in doing so, I thought the best way I could approach this is using the Sustainable Development Goals. And now that the Millennium Goals, some of them have been achieved, or rather have been modified to become the Sustainable Development Goals. And I thought maybe if they understand what the world is doing and how the future is trying to be shaped, and them being participants of this ongoing world, or rather growing world, it's best that they're involved in these discussions around Sustainable Development Goals. So our debates are structured around topics that include Sustainable Development Goals, and the biggest reason why we want them to have such conversations because there are so many problems in the world today, and sometimes most of the solutions come from people that we don't expect that they could have the solution. And youth, especially adolescents at a very young age, when they're given the opportunity to contribute into the development of the world, especially the Sustainable Development Goals, we see that they have a huge contribution towards that, and we cannot underestimate what they can produce. And they come with very candid and viable and also profound contributions towards the Sustainable Development Goals. So I think this approach not only is it giving them the opportunity to learn more about how the world is progressing, but also giving them an opportunity to participate in shaping the future of the world. Our previous debate that was held on 26th of the previous month, we had a debate, and they were debating around 3 goals, and that is goal number 5, number 10, and number 16. The arguments were very good, and I think, Arnold, if anyone is interested in learning how the students deconstructed the motions that were on those debates, there are videos on YouTube you can share with them so they see what the students have been doing. But for me, it has been an enlightening process and also a dumbfounding, because I hardly expected that they would explore the conversations around Sustainable Development Goals, especially the one on gender equality, which is a very sensitive issue here, and the one on peace. Oops. So I think they did well, and it is my hope and prayer that the conversation will continue and just shape the next leadership of this nation. Thank you, Arnold.
Thank you so much, Nuri. So I'll try not to use the microphone from now, because I saw that it was producing an echo. Yes, Nuri, can you hear me without the microphone? All right, thank you so much for the feedback. He says he can hear loud and clear, so I believe everybody else can hear. So we can proceed without the microphone because it was causing some destructive echoes. So anyone who speaks, make sure you speak audibly so that the voice can be picked up from here for the sake of the online participants. Brenda says, I'm ready to give my input. So Brenda, you can go up next. And then after that, we can have our speaker from the State Department for Planning. So Brenda.
Hi, everyone. So as I said, my name is Brenda, and I just want to give my input around why these SDGs are important and what are our roles as young people. And not to preempt what has already been said, because it basically vibrates with what I'm about to say. But when you think about SDGs, it's about growth holistically in different aspects of the world. And in these aspects, it's just environment, culture, economy, and society. And when you look at those three things, basically, they are the three things, they are the key elements of growing a sustainable future. Because what you're experiencing right now, the SDGs came from us realizing the challenges that have been there over time, and what can we do to ensure that in future, we have a more sustainable environment, our culture is sustainable, the economy is sustainable, and the society is contributing to this sustainability. And when you look at those key aspects, as young people, we are expected to use our creativity and our know-how in technology, and also our financial resources to kind of realize these different SDGs. And I'm saying this so passionately because as young people, the generation that we have right now, we are very, very unique. We're in the middle of so many changes, and we are also the spearheads of these changes. And when you look at how to realize these SDGs, we probably don't have the right resources to reach to this, to drive these goals in the next few years. But what we have is our creativity, or asking ourselves, what can my skills, how can my skills contribute to which sustainable, which SDG? And how can I use technology to implement this with my skills? So I'm just saying that we are in a very unique position. And the fact that we have such kind of platforms that are creating awareness on which SDGs are important, because they're driving the future and we're in the middle of it. So it's up to us getting a realization of this is happening and questioning how we can use our skills and technology, our creativity in order to drive these SDGs goals to the front. And there are so many. When you think about it, there are so many, but they are quite interdependent. I like the last SDGs that says partnership for the goals. And that makes you realize that you can be a poet and be involved in climate change. And through climate change, it can help with poverty. When people know when to plant trees, and that creates rain, and then you're able to plant crops, and now you are able to feed. And if you're able to feed your family, then you can take them to school, and that affects education. And when it comes to education, there is ICT involved, so there's a lot of what do I call it? Like there is work involved, economic growth. So I feel there's a ripple effect and interdependencies on every SDG goals. Even if there are so many, our little creativity creates a ripple effect to make all these goals achieved. So that will be my take. Thank you, Arnold.
Thank you so much, Brenda, for sharing your inputs. Let's clap for her once more. All right, thank you so much. So I'd like to welcome those who have arrived, the ones who have come in a bit later. So we'll give you a chance to just say your name, maybe what you do, and one fun fact about yourself. We'll be expecting a guest from the State Department of Planning. They'll be coming in a short while. So in the meanwhile, we can do that. For those who have come in a bit later, kindly, you can come here. You can come here where I am, so that you can introduce yourself, so that you can also be heard online, since we are not using the microphone. So thank you so much. We can start with you, Simo, since you are nodding profusely, so that we can get to know you.
Thank you so much. That's a great appreciation from a colleague. I hope I'm audible. So my name is Siamola Murundo. I work for Organization of African Youth. We champion meaningful youth engagement in Kenya. So it's a great appreciation to be working, to be part of this agenda. because as an organization, especially SDG is a key priority, and within its aspect, it is key strategic areas within the organization. So I clearly appreciate my introduction to this session, and specifically as a young person, it is key to participate in such agenda and also to share among ourselves, especially when we are the majority. 75% of young people are young people in Kenya, according to the census 2019 census report. So that means that we need to, when we have such a spaces, it's good to share information amongst ourselves. And actually, it's good that we are meeting also with people who are different experience. They can also share with us. I think he said that the fun bit around me. So the funny bit around me is advocacy. That is what I like and I've been part of for the past 5 years. So I'm so much interested in advocacy and also sharing information. But advocacy in a good way. See ya kubeba matawi. So that bit is quite, I'm so passionate on that. I'm not sure if I've covered all of them. Yeah, thank you so much. I think we'll keep on interacting and knowing each other.
Let's clap for him. Yes, who wants to come next? Yes, can come. Yes.
So, hi everyone. My name is Ali Zani. I'm a student from Mount Kenya. I'm also a champion for SDGs. I volunteer as a global youth ambassador under the World Organization of UK in terms of promoting SDG number 4, that is quality and sustainable education. I'm also a champion for climate under Max Tobiso Climate Ambassadorial Program. I'm part and parcel of Europe Africa Youth Climate Network, and so many other things. So I'm really happy for this session, and I'm looking forward to learn more from State Department of Planning. They're saying that youths are almost 2.6 M of the total population in the country. So it's upon us to get involved, engaged towards creativity and idealism generally. So the funny aspect of me, I don't know, but I would say that I love making impact basically within the community. I love youth getting engaged here and there so that they can get awareness on sustainable development goals in terms of social, economic, environmental, as well as ecological dimensions. So I'm looking forward to learn more. I'm also a social entrepreneur. I'm really an advocate for that because I believe creating a social space and environmental space, coming up with conjugated solutions, we can be able to solve a lot of issues concerning youth, climate, partnership for the goals, inclusivity, and so many other goals, decent work and economic growth, green jobs, bring up cluster organizations, and so many other things. So I won't love to talk much with those few remarks. I would really wish to learn more from here henceforth. So thank you so much.
Let's give him a better clap. Thank you so much. Welcome to.
Hi. Good morning. I didn't come late. I tried, but I came late with a purpose. There is something going on somewhere which is so unfortunate, but we are seeing how to help. So by name I'm Tony Olela, and I'm a young person. I have so many caps on my head, but let me state them, but not all. I'm a youth advisory panel at UNFPA, Kenya. I'm also the head of administration at the Global Youth Consortium to End FGM by 2030 UNFPA UNICEF Joint Program. I'm also an ambassador of Polycare, that is under the National Police Service of Kenya, where we are championing against gender-based violence strongly and I'm also a judge. I'm also a judge. So, and I'm also the boss of SDG calls me a champion for everything. So a champion for SDG, a champion for peace. So it's a pleasure to be here. I believe we're going to interact and not only learn SDG in in details, like in heavy English. I like telling Arnold that we need to break this thing in simpler language people to understand and how they correlate, right? Yeah. Otherwise, thank you so much for you guys coming, and let's keep telling those who are online to join. I'm happy to see Beryl joining, and by the end of the day, I believe we're going to interact. I'm available for any conversation, and yeah, let's fight against FGM. It is so sad to receive a message that there are around 15 girls in some forest somewhere who were cut yesterday night. So we're trying to find a way of how to get them out of that forest and their candidates. So thank you so much. Thanks so much.
Better clap. Anyone who has not introduced themselves? Oh, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. So I believe it's afternoon, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rehab, and I'm so glad, Arnold, about what you do about the SDGs. It's such an amazing thing because sometimes as youth, we are really not sure of how to take part. But I believe each and every person has a capacity. In their own big ways, in their own small ways, there's something that we can do. That moment you decide not to throw an empty bottle on the way and you just decide to do the right thing, that is something very small. We may see it as something very small, but at the end of it, it has a very big impact. That decision you make to pay 500 shillings for maybe a child who is out of school, it really creates a big impact on the SDGs. So for what I do, I am a teacher and I'm very passionate about education. And I can say that every time a child is out of school, we are losing so much potential. So we can do all we can to support kids who are out of school, anywhere, whatever small thing that you can do, it is so amazing. So thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. And I believe in other coming sessions, I'll also be available. Sometimes I wanted to be part of it, but it was really not possible. But I believe now I have more space. I was able to join some online sessions some times back. So I'll be glad to also be taking part in any initiatives that you people have. Some of us are supporters, some of us are initiators of projects. So any project that will be coming along, I'll be willing to support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rahab. It was a surprise to see you here, because I know that you usually become so busy and you rarely get time. So it is good to see you that you also part of this conversation. I'll also allow those who joined us a bit later online to introduce themselves. I know you love the SDGs, so that you can also introduce yourself. In a short while, we'll be having our guest from the State Department for Planning. So for those who are all right. Hello. let me use this side. I believe the ones who are online can hear me now. So Beryl, I was saying maybe you can introduce yourself. I know that you love the SDGs. Just tell us, all right, Peter, thanks. Just tell us your name, tell us where you're from, what you do, and a fun fact about yourself, Beryl, and then we can have Valentine. Beryl, you can unmute yourself. All right, thanks.
Hi, everybody. My name is Beryl, and I joined a bit late. Sorry for that, but I'm really impressed by everything that Arnold is doing, especially to try and sensitize and make SDGs aware to the youth. So I am an adamant and an avid advocate for SDGs, and I'm a youth as well. So I'm not so old, I'm still in the youth bracket. But career professionally, I'm a lawyer, I'm an advocate. I practice in the civil society sector.
So it seems, Beryl, we can't hear you. Maybe you can move to the next person as we wait for Beryl to come back. We can have Valentine. Valentine, would you like to introduce yourself? Anyone else who is online who would like to speak? You can raise your hand or send a message in the chat. Since I haven't seen anyone this far, so I'll just pick it up from here and share some insights as well about the Sustainable Development Goals. So we'll be able to engage the other online participants in case they notify us through the chat or by raising the hand. We'll be able to see that. So as I was speaking earlier, as I was presenting to you, giving the background, I know some of you had not arrived, but I mentioned that usually our government or governments who are member states of the United Nations, from time to time, whenever they are ready, they can they usually request to present at the high level political forum where the voluntary national reviews, they are called the voluntary national reviews, take place. It happens every year. It used to happen in person in New York. However, in the past 1 or 2 years, during the pandemic period, most of the engagements were actually virtual stroke physical for those who are able to access. And that is where countries present their progress. So now in our context as Kenya, Kenya has presented reviews on progress twice. That is in 2017 and in 2020. I know Mr. Dominic, once he comes, is going to tell us more about that. But usually the government, through the SDGs unit, I'm going to give an award to some of you because I'll ask a question at some point. So pay attention so that you can get that award. Usually the government, through the SDGs unit, the SDGs unit is housed under the National Treasury and Planning. Under the National Treasury and Planning, we have the State Department for Planning. And we have the director in charge of Sustainable Development Goals. So that department is the one which carries out the reviews through support from the Council of Governors in the counties to make sure that they get a national perspective on where we are at as a country so that as soon as they are ready to present progress, they can request the UN so that they can go and give a voluntary national review. It's mostly known as the VNRs. So if you hear someone speaking about review on SDGs, they'll mention voluntary national reviews, VNRs. And these ones are accessible online. You can actually, for example, you can go on Google and say voluntary national review, Kenya voluntary national reviews. You will find those ones for those 2 years, and you can check what our government has reported. So again, as stakeholders, we are all responsible to ensure that we make progress towards the SDGs. It does not matter whether you are part of the government which is reporting. So you find avenues of being part of the process. And the good thing is our government has tried to incorporate stakeholders from the different sectors in those processes. For instance, every year they organize a multi-stakeholders forum whereby they call upon, can you assist me list the stakeholders on SDGs? Ukisema moja unapata zawadi. Stakeholders on SDGs. Tony? Yes. This book has the SDGs. It has the background. It has the goals, the targets, and some important information you need to know about the reviews and how follow-up is done at national, regional, and global levels. So you've earned yourself a gift. You can also have us. Yeah. Thank you so much for mentioning the first stakeholder, which is the government. Who else? Galata? The non-governmental organizations. They are mostly referred to as civil society. You're also welcome to come for your award. Who else? Who else? You want to take a photo? Who else? Yes, Michael?
And say the people who are involved in promoting the SDGs in the youth, people who are passionate about some kind of SDGs.
But all those stakeholders are passionate about the SDGs.
But you can say, for instance, the champions for SDGs.
The youth, eh? All right, come for you. Who else has Rahab?
The private sector.
Yes, very nice. The private sector is headed by the Kenya Private Sector Association, popularly known as yes. Wote nimesema KEPSA, nimesikia sauti tatu hapo. Wewe na wewe, si ndio? Nimesikia yako. Nani mwingine alisema KEPSA? Kama unajua ulisema KEPSA, msipite watatu, kujeni. Sawa. So you can have this one. Okay. This one, please. We also have this one. Any other stakeholder? Yes. Come on, man. if you've already been awarded, you can give us an answer, but we can prioritize those ones who haven't spoken yet. If there are people online who want to also speak, you are welcome to do so. Yeah, I see a lot of inputs. Beryl says media and academia. Beryl, how will you get your award? We'll keep it for you until we meet you in person. So we'll still have it. We'll have a booklet for you. Peter says youth serving organizations, just like the way Michael was saying. Wambui Gikonyo says local authorities. I guess local authorities, you mean the county governments for our case? Yes, so the county governments through the Council of Governors is also an important stakeholder in the SDGs. Nuri says women are key stakeholders. Thank you so much, Nuri. Peter, state government departments. Yes, I suppose this is also part of government. Yes, because all the ministries and departments, they are supposed to align themselves towards the SDGs as guided by the National Treasury and Planning. So Viola says people of concern or target population. So thank you so much. All those were right answers. As soon as we are able to engage with you in person, we'll still have rewards for you. So for those who are present, who would like to, who hasn't mentioned a stakeholder and would like to? Yes. Trade unions. Okay. All right. That is an important stakeholder. So you'll also get an award, but before that, someone else. International bodies. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
The learning institutions.
The
Learning institutions from the secondary to particularly the higher learning institutions.
Yeah, thank you so much. So that one is commonly referred to as academia. As Beryl had mentioned, the learning institutions. Yeah, thank you so much. Yes?
We have the development partners who in financial resources as well as research bodies.
Development partners and research bodies. Yeah, those are still development partners like?
For example, the World Bank.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so anyone else would like to say something? You seem like you want to say something, but you're not sure. Would you like to say something? Oh, you seem unsure, but you seem like you want to say, but you are not sure. Simwa?
I can say the UN agency, which may go that, and maybe the conference.
Yeah. So like that is kind of includes private sector. Yes. Yes.
Can you say like the vulnerables, the ones like particular SDG is addressing?
Like for example.
For example, if we say like the climate action, we can say that with the people who are major causes of the climate action should
Well, I haven't really gotten how you were explaining, but I hear you. Yes.
I think she's saying the members of the panel.
Like every SDG is every goal, or when we within the society is addressing particular people, right? So the people who are facing with such a problem,
The target population. All right. Yeah, that is true. For example, if a program is targeting vulnerable populations, for example, if you are looking at people with disabilities, if you are looking at people in ASAL areas, arid and semi-arid places. So yes, that is correct. So you know, yes, Stephen.
Yes, I think her point maybe it's
not clear.
No, it is clear the way we have brought in another point in terms of the people with disability and all of that. I think what we need to do for special interest, I think she was mentioning, we the people, like the constitution and like the separation. So we the people, we also, but I think that is what, if I am not clear, I get it, the people from the ground, from the grass. Yes.
They also answer it. I don't know. The person answer it.
Yeah, would you please come forward?
Yes.
And then say something so that people can hear you.
It's a question. Is the police are part of the stakeholders?
Samuel, would you like to answer?
The police. Yeah, I think so. Because they have a role, when you look at number 16 about this constitution, they have a role in ensuring that people that they actually treat this justice themselves. So yeah, I think they're all there as well. Sure.
Yes, sir.
Let me speak for the police. Now, the police play a very big role when it comes to championing for SDGs. Just that we have a gap that we really need to address. Like we are focusing on SDG number 5. So they play a very big role, but they need what I know the police need. They need senior on SDGs because some of them don't know what SDGs are. So they are very key stakeholders. And I think everybody's is a key stakeholder in those SDGs. Yeah, even Simon. Thank you. Anybody else with anything to say? Yeah.
I don't know if I can add, because I see the embassy of the United States. I don't know where embassy for.
Just a minute, Simon. So I'm just requesting you so that I go down and assist our guest speaker to access the venue. So you can just continue with that conversation. I'll be back in a short while.
Okay, thank you. I was just checking that aspect of the embassy of the United States. And I don't know, I understand that they fall within the development sectors in terms of all the CSOs and all the aspects who are participating in terms of development. But can you also categorize them as key stakeholders for this particular engagement? And then also the aspect of the police. I think the aspect of sensitization, that is what we should maybe focus on. And I believe I appreciate those who have been taking part in terms of even sensitizing the police. I know we have not done much, but I believe it is a process that it is still ongoing. Maybe limited resources, but it's affecting us as a nation.
Thank you so much. You asked a question that if the police are involved in the promotion of SDGs. I think my answer is yes, because according to the duties of police, if you try to look at quality number, SDG number 4, that is quality education. When the students are doing their examinations, and even in the matters of concerning security of these children, the police are the one who are called. Okay. Also, we have the gender equality. You had Tony talk about Polycare. Polycare is really working to promote gender equality through zero tolerance to GBV, and most of, but particularly the sexual gender-based violence. So the police is really involved in promoting the sustainable development goals. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Now,
Okay, maybe to add on to that, we have the 5 P's of the Sustainable Development Goals, and one of the P's is on peace. So I believe that the police have a very important role to play when it comes to enhancing peace, because without peace, we cannot have the development, we cannot have sustainable development. So both of them have to go hand in hand. Therefore, I think they are a very important stakeholder. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm seeing some questions online. Maybe before we welcome our guests. Now, I have a question for those who are still students. How best can students be still stakeholders when it comes to SDGs? Like, what role can students play when it comes to SDGs? I've just seen a question somewhere. Let me hide it. I've seen a question somewhere. Let me hide it so that you cannot take them more Kenya. Just please, you can hide for me the comment section. Good. So, how best can students take part in? Let me start from
So, as a student, I feel like coming up with initiatives and doing projects that involve the SDGs. For example, I have a friend who founded Magical Wanafunzi, which basically helps to inasaidia public schools, primary schools, waweze kupata maji. They did boreholes, they are working with the recent shortly. So there are such kind of projects that involve SDGs that one students can come up with. They can work towards achieving the SDGs.
Okay, as a student also, I would say we create awareness, like the advocacy part. Like when I educate myself on SDG, I can go back to my fellow students. There's also programs like which Africa for SDGs runs, which is like S.R.H.R, and alongside us, whereby the university students educate the high schoolers educate the primary. So basically, as the student, you are a resource, and the best you can do is like you create awareness on how SDGs are progressing and how much they are needed in the world. So through creating awareness, now there will be innovative and creative people who will come up with the projects. And now what we will need from outside will be just maybe the financial and funding resources. But the ideas lie within us.
I don't know if there's an award for her. I know you used youth voice. You're very wise. Next.
Thank you once again. I think Now, how the students can also promote sustainable development goals. If you look at number 4, it's quality education. One, they have first of all to be credible in their exams, and then because we are providing quality education, and also number one, the second way in which we can really promote SDGs as students is I just would like to echo what my sister said about projects and coming up with ideas. I once attended a forum that was prepared by the United Nations General Assembly special session, and they were really encouraging the youth to come up with ideas that can really that can really address the problems that are really being focused on by the SDGs. And I think also, if you look at SDG number 5, which is gender equality, the first promoters of gender equality are the students in terms of accessing facilities in schools and also ending the gender-based violence among the students and also even promoting in their communities. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I think the students fall under the Education for Sustainable Development, and that's where the institutions of learning from primary to university are involved. And the students, for example, in campus, like the hub, which sounds talking about clubs of movement, and then the information you have, like share with the other students in campus. Also debates. You can all debate about the whatever we are talking about here. Articles, just being creative, being innovative to solve the problems you talk about. At the end of the day, solving the problems. Because SDGs, they present problems that have to be solved in certain ways. It's not about talking, it's from the head to your heart and then to your hands. I think education for sustainable development comprises of all the students and education system.
Actually, you said the same point that I have, but at least I can add something. Yeah, because I think as a student, we can come up with platforms that will engage students so much. Like at the university, you find most of the students are free at some days, so you can come up with platforms that will encourage students to become initiative and innovative. Because at this 21st century, it's where we live in an innovative world where people are inventing things. So I think that can work best.
Thank you so much. Before I get back with the mic to them, hoping we'll have such time again to do what we did. Now I wanted you guys to try to think on data. We need data, and these are space that you can really get some resources to address issue with SDGs, because I believe like students, we the young people, we can get the correct data, and because we have the energy to get the data, okay? So if we can utilize that. If very, very key. This has been a discussion in our agency, the UNFPA, for the past 1 week. We need data, and also you need to understand your community as an individual and how best can you address this. I like what she said and what she said, because we the young people, we know how best you can communicate pale mashinani. Is that right? We speak different languages. Once you get the information here, go back there and share it. Because if you can't face the problem, then the problem becomes your face, right? Good.
Thank you so much. Let's clap for him for taking us. So all of those who spoke while I was away, raise your hands. If you spoke and you have not got a reward, raise your hand. So that I can give you a reward. If you spoke and you have not received a reward, and raise your hand. Who spoke and hasn't received Who else? Please pass it on to him. Who else? Everybody else has something, right? Did you speak there? Maybe you would like to say something and then get everyone.
Okay, so I am not a student and I'm a registered nutritionist, as I said earlier. So my point, my SDG is SDG 2, which is zero hunger. And as some say that we need to take at least one SDG and be passionate about it. I am being the change I want to be in my community. I love working with vulnerable groups. And so I started this January, where we are building urban shambles to grow organic, healthy vegetables for city dwellers. And through that, I believe I'm a stakeholder in achieving the SDGs because I'm also a farmer. I'm in love with good health and good food because a healthy individual makes a healthy society, and you cannot do anything really when you're not healthy, right? So basically, that is my passion, and I love to meet different people who are in line with what I do and see what we can do and bring that change in the community.
Thank you so much. Let's clap for them. All right. So I know, Tony, you tried to raise. Sorry, that was an issue with the internet that I faced with the phone. Tony, you tried to tackle the question of data, but I know maybe Mr. Dominic, you might mention something about data and how important it is in the Sustainable Development Goals. So at this point, I would just like for us to welcome our guest speaker from the yes, since we are now not moving around, everyone speaking. Since we are speaking from the stage now, I guess we can utilize the microphone on the laptop so that we can also effectively engage the participants who are online. So I'd like us to welcome Mr. Dominic Loriakwe. He's from the SDGs unit at the State Department for Planning. He's going to share with us some insights on where we are at as a country in the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. He is very passionate about young people and how they can be engaged on in the SDGs. He has traveled all the way from a different part of the country and has come straight here from the airport. So it's an honor to have you here. We appreciate your effort. Kindly, you're welcome to come over and share with us your presentation or insight. Thank you so much. Let's clap for him as he comes.
Thank you very much, Mahmoud. I'm usually happy to participate in that kind of forums. So fellow youth, I'm Dominic Lemusi, as he said. I'm an economist for profession. I sit at the National Sustainable Development Goals Secretariat at the State Department for Planning, that is the National Treasury and Planning. So colleague, it's my honor and pleasure to be able to join you today in this very important engagement on our future at the young people of this country. So I will have to pay the price of being a bit late, but I will not be able to know your names. But I think with time, as we engage in the discussion, I'll be able to at least have an idea of whom are in the room. So I'm happy that here we have students, we have also young people who are not students, who are really passionate to save our future generations from this extreme poverty and other societal problems. So when it comes to the 2030 agenda, I think I'm just coming in when the tune is already on and the team is really have to understand the speed of what are these SDGs. I'm happy to hear there's someone from UNFPA. That's pleasure. Thank you very much. I was somewhere in another county and I heard what UNFPA is doing somewhere in West Pokot there, and I was very happy. I heard there was someone from Stratton. My friend, how are you? You're Sam. He's a good friend of mine, but it's the first time we are meeting physically. Okay, I'm also a comrade at Stratton University. Maybe is there someone from University of Nairobi in the team? Okay, Kenyatta. Wonderful. What about Big Quad? USIU? KU? MKU? Oh, MKU is there. Right. So umetoka mbali sana. Thank you very much for being here. Okay, MTC. We need good health and well-being for our lives and our generations to come. Thank you very much for being here. So our colleagues, we are really grateful at the Sustainable Development Goals Coordination Directorate, which is the State Department that coordinate implementation of SDGs on behalf of the Kenyan government. We are usually very happy when we see young people are taking this for themselves because SDGs are for us young people. The future that we are looking for is not for other people, but for us young people. These were the global framework that was adopted in the year 2015 by all the 193 United member states, and they all agreed to implement this agenda. So what's actually key in this agenda is what is very important for this forum, that is young people. We are the largest population globally. Actually, if you speak of the current, and my colleague from UNFPA can agree with me, actually in every 3 people you meet, there is one person who is under the age of 30 globally. So meaning we are the architect of this agenda, and we are the people who can easily be able to move and to choose the future that we want for ourselves as young people and as for the future generation. So during the adoption of this agenda, Kenya as a country, we are very keen in this agenda. We are one of the countries who are nominated to co-share the technical working groups who are working behind the scenes to this 2030 agenda. During I think you have all heard of the Millennium Development Goals. That is the 8 Millennium Development Goals. There are 18 targets and there are 48 indicators. During the implementation of this agenda, the key goal was to drive away the planet from poverty. And what came out clear is that they focus onto some specific problems in our society. And during the implementation from the year 2000 to 2015, a number of lessons were learned. And they realized that there's a lot to be done to our society globally than the 18 MDGs. So different technical teams at the United Nations level, at the regional level, national levels were engaged to see how can these MDGs be broadened. And as an outcome of the discussions, they come with a document named The Future We Want. And this document was focusing on now the period 2015 to 2030 for where we want our planet to be. So under these 18 goals, they expanded to 17 SDGs. And these SDGs were really focusing on our life. I heard when I came, we are talking about the 5 Ps. So these 5 Ps summarize all that we need to understand from SDGs. Because for us to achieve sustainable development, the first priority is us, the people, we the people. Everything we do as change our lives, to sustain our well-being around,
we have to interact with our environment in our daily life. So the planet has to be safe for our prosperity. So as we interact with this planet, we need to make progress in different sectors. So we need to prosper. And the third P came as prosperity. As we need to prosper, we interact with each other. We need to be actually have harmony amongst ourselves, peace and the rest. So we brought in the idea of the fourth P to be the peace. And then this agenda, you cannot go alone. The young people, the private sector, academia, the civil society to prosper in this agenda. And the 50 P came in, that is the partnerships, partnership for sustainable development. So this 2030 agenda global framework, and it has been said to an extent whereby it is universal. It is covering both the developing and the developed world. For us, as we shun the planet, be safe from poverty and other societal problems. So the agenda really covers 3 dimensions. That is the economic, the social, our life, and the third one is the now the environment where we live as young people and the society at large. So Kenya as a country, we participated in this process and we actually adopted this, the Kenyan government adopted this as a country in September the year 2016. So since adoption, the first step was now, we were already implementing the Millennium Development Goal. So the country had first to see how best can we be able to implement the 17 SDGs without reinventing the wheel, what we have been doing in the MDGs. So the first step was the Kenyan government developed what we call the Sustainable Development Goals Roadmap. And this roadmap was to support the country to transition from the Millennium Development Goals to the Sustainable Development Goals. And in the transition period, it was run from the year 2016 to 2018, and it focused on 7 key. And the first thematic area that they were talking about was the idea of partnerships. We had to establish partnerships. Who are key for poverty? Who are key when it comes to gender? Who are key in different sectors of these, what these SDGs are addressing? The second area that they were looking for was the idea of mainstreaming. We had to mainstream these SDGs to our usual way of doing things, our usual planning, our usual budgeting, and all aspects of our societal way of doing things. And the third one was the idea of sensitization. How can this agenda be had? How can this important information be had by all sectors of the information? We need to make what we have been doing when it comes to the MDGs. How can we be able to make it better? So, and we have to map different ways of how we can raise the sensitization of the agenda and all that. Another key thing is that we cannot do all this without resources. We have to come up with the second data part of resource mobilization. We have to see where can we be able to get these resources for us to implement the agenda. And that we need to have the capacity building was a key thing that we really have to consider technical capacity, the communities, or other stakeholders for ease of implementation of this agenda, and the strategies were developed to see how can this be implemented. And then the other one is that we need always to be updated. Where are we when it comes to implementation of the agenda? And the other one was tracking and reporting of the SDGs. Now that after coming up with this roadmap, we had to start implementation of these SDGs. So as a country, by then we already have our own blueprint. That is the Kenya Vision 2030. So the SDGs are running to the year 2030. Our own vision is running to the year 2030. So we have to do a policy gap analysis. We have to do a policy gap analysis, an analysis whereby we need to see how can these SDGs be aligned to our Kenya Vision 2030. So after aligning that, it was realized that the 17 SDGs are aligned to this Kenya Vision 2030, and 68% of the agenda was being addressed by our existing policies and frameworks. So as a country, we are in a better position to implement these SDGs. Now, after implementation of SDGs, a lot has been done in the process. And now as government, the government came out with what they are calling cabinet memo, which directed all the ministries, departments, and agencies at both levels of government to implement these SDGs in in their planning frameworks, budgeting, development reports, strategic plans, and all that for ease of monitoring, for ease of implementation, and for ease tracking of this agenda. So, colleagues, the government of Kenya is really committed to the implementation of this agenda. And after developing all these frameworks, policy gap analysis, they went ahead and do different policy capacity building forums for young people, society, sector, and other parts of government, is in the understanding and the implementation of the agenda. So the key highlights, because of time, I know you must be tired. I just have to give key highlights of where we are when it comes to this implementation and what are we looking for moving forward as government to implement the agenda. So the first is thing that, as I said, we need the roadmap, the policy gap analysis, we need a cabinet memo, and the government of Kenya, through the executive order on the reorganization of the government of Kenya, has mandated the State Department for Planning on behalf of the government to be able to monitor, track implementation, and evaluate implementation of SDGs in the country. So the first step when we need now to implement this at the State Department for Planning, the first step was coming up, bringing all stakeholders on board. Well, we had to have all stakeholders on board. And we came up with what we call Interagency Technical Working Committee on SDGs. And this committee brings together all our stakeholders. We have the government, all line ministries, whereby each goal from goal is represented. The specific agency that is mandated by the government in that sector is represented. And the other category is the civil society. Civil society contributes a lot for implementation of SDGs. We have also the civil society represented. We have the private sector represented. We have the parliament, that is parliamentary focus on SDGs and business. Academia is very important. We have academia represented in the forum. We also have the UN agencies in the country represented in the forum, and these are the development partners. But when you talk about representation, there are over 700 CSOs in this country. You cannot have a sitting with all of them. So we came with a strategy. We can engage these stakeholders through their umbrella bodies. We can be able to hear their voices from the umbrella level. Now for the civil society, we have what we call the SDGs Kenya Forum, sitting in this agency. For the private sector, we have the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, KEPSA, sitting in the agency. For the county government, we have the Council of Governors, sitting in this agency. For the United Nations, we have UNDP and the United Nations Development Office sitting in the same. And now for Parliament, we have what we call the Parliamentary Caucus on SDGs and business, being in this team. And for academia, we have the University of Nairobi being in this team. And now for the government, all the key line ministries and every goal are included in this team. In addition to the larger committee that we have on SDGs, we also have a subcommittee which is working with us as secretariat in our daily activities on SDGs. And this team includes the SDGs Kenya Forum for the Private Sector, Council of Governors for the County, Kenya Private Sector, Alliance for the Private Sector, Parliamentary Focus for our parliaments, UNDP and NRC for UN allies and other development partners, and University of Nairobi for academia. So colleagues, that's how we are going far to extend our stakeholders, and we're always working closely with all stakeholders in this country. When you hear people like Arnold, people who have been working closely, we are always there to support this agenda as the government. So colleagues, the key highlights of the key achievement, we have been able to conduct capacity building in the country for almost all levels. We have been able to develop materials like what the forum is consuming today. These materials, some have been actually translated to different languages. We have Kikuyu, Maasai, Akamba, and all these other languages that have been these have been translated to different languages, and we have them on disposal. And usually, this was done to be able to have all these stakeholders be able, everybody to understand what are these SDGs. Secondly, we have to do a lot of reporting to enable our members understand and the community understand what are these SDGs. And we develop, the first step is that we develop the 2019 status report. We usually also report on the to the United Nations High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development Goals. And to this end, we have been able to develop 2 reports. That is the first report in 2017, another one in 2020, just to give a status to the global community what Kenya is doing in SDGs implementation and what they can be able to learn from one as a country. We have been also to do some specific research. We did awareness surveys on SDGs. We also did the policy governance that I did earlier on SDGs, and we're also embarking on something on how COVID-19 has affected the implementation of SDGs in the country. So a lot also has been going on when it comes to capacity building. We came up with what we call the annual national conference on SDGs, which brings together all stakeholders within the country on SDGs. And even we have gone to an extent of having a representative from Uganda, Tanzania participating in these forums. That's where we share our experiences, we share your good practices on what you are doing on SDGs. In addition to this forum, we usually have different forums, like the youth forum, what our colleagues from the Champions on SDGs are organizing, the CSO forum, which we usually support as the government for technical capacity. We have also county forums, which we are supporting. And in the level of the county, we have been able to capacity build almost all the counties. And we have gone to an extent, we have a champion on SDGs in every county. That is really linking the council to the county government, and the council usually reports to us to contribute in our reporting on the same. So colleagues, when it comes to mainstreaming, a lot has been done on SDGs. SDGs has been mainstreamed to our national development plans. If you are part of medium-term plans, sector plans, county development plans for ease of implementation, tracking, and monitoring of these SDGs. Another key thing that is good actually to mention to us as young people is that the government have gone another extra mile of now raising sensitization, and we have things like the State Department for Planning website, Sustainable Development Goal Coordination website, where you can be able to access information on SDGs in a simplified format. You can be able just to click on that website or get all the goals, get all the indicators, and understand and all the key progress that has been made in the process. And now when it comes to education, we collaborated with the Kenya School of Government and come with a training curriculum on SDGs, whereby staff from the government, private sector, and other interested partners are also being involved in training on the same, so we can be able to raise awareness when it comes to SDGs implementation. And all these contact people I'm talking about have been able to train on these SDGs. Another thing is that and at the county level, there is what we call the voluntary local reporting. We have been able to support a number of counties as a State Department for Planning to develop technical to develop the voluntary local review, which usually contributes to what we report at the national level. And reporting of SDGs is something that's of different levels. That is, we have the global perspective, the regional perspective, national perspective. And the key of all is the national perspective, because it is what builds the regional reporting and the global reporting. So there is what we call the United Nations Department of Economic Affairs, as an agency of the UN, which has been mandated to track the follow-up and review of this agenda. And they usually have what they are the secretary to the United Nations High-Level Political Forum, which is usually held July every year. And countries usually present their voluntary national reporting on where are they in this implementation, what lessons can the other global partners learn from them, what are the challenges to their implementation, and the strategies in place that are also to be learned from, that are in solving the existing problems. And also, they also have a section whereby we have the ministerial segment, whereby all the cabinet secretaries or ministers or prime ministers in charge of our SDGs make their national statement on the outlook and the view of that country in SDGs implementation. So usually this forum meets July every year for preparation of and at the high level, the heads of state and government level, they usually meet after every 4 years to see the progress in the last 4 years and what has to be considered in the subsequent 4 years in the implementation of the agenda and the review on that. So colleagues, again, now just to go back to in the implementation of the agenda, a lot has been learned as government. And out of this, We are all important in this SDGs agenda, mainly the young people. We are the people who can be able to solve our problems, because we are the people who really know what we want for our tomorrow. And the SDGs has come with a view whereby we can be able to have choices for our life. For those who are to major in their studies, the future of what this global community wants is already in the SDGs. When you look at the 17 SDGs, all that you need to consider is in the SDGs. And we are always ready to support. What you can, my witness is Arnold. Usually, wherever he needs our support, he walks into even our higher level management, he always be supported in this process, whether with materials, whether with facilitation, we'll be released to come and address such forums. So we are really, because we have realized that SDGs are for young people, and we are the architect of this agenda. And all that key problems in this agenda, we are the ones to solve for ourselves and our generations. So in the implementation of the agenda, there are some of the key challenges that have been realized. And one of it is that this agenda requires adequate resources for implementation. Implementing a project really requires resources. So the key challenge here is resources. And the another one is data. I've heard of you talking about data. Data is a challenge, but it's something that we appreciate innovative ways of how you can come up with the strategies, you can come up with ways of how this data can be addressed, because sometimes we might not be able to say this data, we don't lack data. Data is there, but it is really adequate. It's not adequate. We have to come up with ways of I like how my colleagues from UNFPA, they usually try to analyze these demographic indicators. Yeah? We are the people to give them this data. If we open our phones today, there's what we call the system-generated data. You can get a lot of information. How can you be able to harness this information to contribute to official statistics? Because for SDGs to be implemented in this country, we usually depend on official statistics, which has to, and we have what we call the National SDGs Indicator Framework, which the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, which is the government agency for official statistics, has been able to map out of the 232 indicators. How many are we able to report as a country? And as of now, we started with 128, and now we're supposed to report 106 indicators for the implementation of this agenda. So we as young people, we need to open our minds. Which gap can we fill in this when it comes to data? Even when it comes to system-generated data, when it comes to administrative data, which strategies can we be able to acquire this data that is timely, disaggregated, quality, and that can be able to support us in observing and monitoring this agenda? So another challenge is that there's still a low level of awareness of SDGs in this country. So strategies has to be put in place, and that's why you realize we are talking about the coming up with website, having public participation on SDGs to see how we can raise this awareness. So as young people engage in such discussions, come with the strategies. Let us come with simpler ways on how we can be able to raise this SDG awareness in this country. Because as young people, there are so many ways we can participate in this agenda. You can participate in a local NGO or a local CBO as a volunteer to be able to raise this level of awareness, to be able to capacity build our societies on SDGs. Another way we have what we call conducting community forums for SDGs. I like what my colleagues from Strathmore, the SDGs Hub, what is doing to the communities on SDGs. We need to come with this innovative action. Trust me, for all of us in this room, if you go to your village, actually, if not 50%, it might be more. People don't understand what are these SDGs. So are we really solving the problem of development? We are not. So as young people, we need to come up with strategies on how can this level of awareness be raised. Another way that we can support as young people in the SDG agenda, there are these global youth forums. And I hope if Sam was addressed this forum, he must have mentioned these youth forums globally, which we can raise our voice as young people, Kenyan to be represented, and bring those strategies to support our communities as young people. So let us think as young people. We are advised to think. This agenda, this the future that what is being looked for is ours. How can we own it? We must contribute. We must participate. So that later, when we will be post to 2030, you can say, oh, no, what we thought about is something that has really contributed to the level of success. And now, just as I tend to conclude, in that such background, the Kenyan government has been looking into ways on how can we move forward in this agenda. Despite all these other programs we are conducting, we are now working on SDGs acceleration strategy. How can SDGs be able to be we're coming up with an action plan. How can we be able to achieve these SDGs by 2030? Despite the progress that has been made, a lot of gains made has been reversed by the COVID-19 pandemic. So how can we be able to fill that gap? First of all, to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic and be able to accelerate the implementation of these SDGs. Secondly, they usually say information is power. But for SDGs, it really has a high meaning. So that when we are able to come up with all this good practice, there's a lot that is being implemented by one party that we are replicating another sector. Then really coming down. So we have come to that annual activity whereby we will be documenting this process nationally, so that our stakeholders are able to learn what University of Nairobi is doing, that Strathmore is also adopt, what the certain private sector is doing, that another stakeholder can do, so that at least we can be communicating at the same pace. So when you'll be able to see such a call calling for good practices, we are young people, sit there, work on a paragraph, on an article, and share with us for purposes of learning. Secondly, we have different targeted sensitization forums on SDGs, which we will be participating both virtually at the community level, at the professional level in different sectors, and we will always be able to support this. We're also implementing what we are calling what I said, the annual forum on SDGs, and we also think of doing another way of whereby this forum needs to start earlier with different stakeholders, having the youth, having the session, civil society, having the session, and all those are key stakeholders on how we can be communicating towards the end of the year together and agree on what common can we be able to implement for the year and the achievement of these SDGs. And just in brief as well, we are ready for partnerships. We are ready to partner with any stakeholder. Organization with an idea we can be able to save our nation to our association. So, colleagues, as maybe we continue engaging with the forum, I just want to say that the Sustainable Development Goals Coordination Secretariat for this country, as the SDGs Coordination Directorate, we are in support of all that the team is organizing, and we are always there to support the process. We are just located in the National Treasury. Always, if you need some support, engagement, you can liaise with colleagues who are heading the forum, and we can share. We can bring your ideas on board, table your reportings, see where you can play in this agenda, because there's a lot that you can be able to play. You can just pick your favorite SDG, specialize in it, and solve our problems as also you support yourself. So, colleagues, just at the end, I was speaking a lot, but you know, also it is a lunch time and I kept you waiting for quite some time. So I just request maybe to send the program back to Mr. Arnold, and in case of any question, I'm still around, we can engage. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So maybe before you go, you have your seat. Maybe you can just check the questions. Someone can ask a question and then you can respond directly. Yeah, so that we get to engage with you, because I know you have a lot of questions. I heard people saying that they're waiting to hear from you. Yeah, so if you have a question, this is the time. Please ask the question. But first, there is a question. There is a contribution from Peter Kinyua, who is an online participant. Says, what is the government doing to support grassroots youth groups and initiatives? Since I believe a lot well and others are not done the right way, and thus losing a lot of important data. We have been conducting adolescents and young mentorship program. comprehensive sexuality education and charity activities based on SDGs 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. Yet we do not have a partner who can receive the data or facilitate collection of data. Hope we do meetups so we can learn from one another. I don't know, maybe you'd like to respond to that, and then we can have the in-person participants.
So just to respond to that, the idea here is the information gap. What I was saying that just being able to know when I'm implementing 1, 2, whom do I partner with and where will I start? So when it comes to grassroots level, a lot the government is doing to strengthen this. And just to start, we have a component of public participation in this SDGs program. And now that we have 2 levels of government, this is being done at both the national level and also at the county level. At the national government, for all these key sectors, whether default or not default, we have representation at the county level. And the county government currently are the people who can be able to have that close contact with the communities, have that close to be able to answer their communities' issues easily. So the idea here is that we have all these line ministers in the ground to approach for these ideas. We have also, you can also be able to bring this idea on board maybe through umbrella bodies like this kind of forum so that this idea. So the idea is once this you have been allowed, we have representation even at the grassroots level. Whether you have a specific program, let's say we're targeting on gender, we have stakeholders in the ground, both from the national and the county government. All these line ministers are there, and we are open for this always partnership for that. You know, SDGs cuts across everything that we are talking about development. But everything that you think about is just within the 17 SDGs. And in relation to how the government is structured, all these have been captured in all that. So you just need to approach the relevant line ministry and be able to escalate this program for partnership. When it comes to data, usually government, we have the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. That is the agency mandated to provide official statistics for the country. And they are now usually in the process of almost finalizing what they are calling about a strategy whereby how can this data be able to be officiated? You have your data. How can this be able to officiate it? Because a lot of data with us, different stakeholders collect their data, publish their data. How can we be able to officiate this study? So that strategy is almost actually in place, and they're almost finalizing. So that's on how it will outline how can this society be able to bring this data stakeholders can be able to bring on board to be incorporated into national SDGs framework, another framework for performance and monitoring in the country. So once you have your data, approach the key government agency, and you always be advised on how you can accelerate and officiate these statistics. I think I was able to answer him better. Tuko sawa? So questions are welcome, colleagues.
So anyone who has a question, please your time. Yes. So maybe you can, if you want to ask a question, you can come closer here so that your voice gets to the online participants. Or we use the microphone. I hope.
Hi. You made us aware that part of the stakeholders of the Sustainable Development Goals is the academia.
Yes.
So my question to you is perhaps where you are from the Treasury and National Planning, what is the government doing in partnering with these learning institutions, say primary, high school, tertiary institutions, universities and colleges, to sensitize them, whereby they also can go back, as they go back to where they come from, the rural areas where they stay, they are able to sensitize the community and mobilize them towards achievement of the SDGs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much. That's a very important question. And we have been implementing some programs at the primary and secondary levels through SDGs clubs. And usually we conducted this through the State Department for Basic Learning, and that's the State Department for the other the Ministry of Education. And they're usually members of this Intelligence Technical Working Committee on SDGs. So all these programs targeting SDGs are usually it's just that it's a process that is the ball that is still rolling to cover almost the key part, but it's a project that started in some specific location in case of for the purposes of piloting, and it worked, and we are still coming up with strategies, coming up with ways on how can this be adopted. You know, for such a strategy to be adopted, we had first to pilot to see can it be something be viable. So this has been with in cooperation with different stakeholders and the Ministry of Education itself. We had these different clubs in schools, and it is really working. It's just only that we are working on how can this be able to be domesticated within different frameworks, because a number of universities even in this country have been able to mainstream SDGs to be part of their curriculum for people to be able to understand. So it's a process we have started, and we just that we are mainstreaming. We are trying to see how can this be able to reach the lowest level possible, even largely to kindergarten and the rest. Yes. So it's a process we started, and I think with time I will be able to mainstream it fully. Thank you. Yes. I think.
Okay, hello, Mr. I would like to ask, like you said, this thing is implemented to the county levels. So is there like a department specific for like representing? Do we have like a department where it just stands for the sustainable development goals or its implementation? Or we have like, we approach specific ministries for such? I mean, under the county level. And the other thing is like, I don't know, I come from Garissa County, but I don't even know if we have such an office. So, like how can we, with the inclusion of the national government now, ensure that even the counties are implementing? Because some counties, I think they might have even omitted in their program or whatever. They might not have implemented such. So, and if an office a department cannot withstand itself to make the SDGs more available, will it be better to be incorporated in different ministries so that maybe in the Ministry of Education at the country level you still work for SDGs or whatever?
Okay. So thank you very much. That's a very important question. So usually when it comes to SDGs at the county level, we have the economic planning department at the county level, which usually have, in every for 7 counties, we have the monitoring and evaluation department. The monitoring and evaluation department is usually the point in the county that is coordinating implementation of SDGs in every county. So in every county, within the 7 counties, we have an SDGs champion who's usually mostly the director of that monitoring and evaluation department. Because the SDGs has been mainstream in the county integrated development plans. So every time they are reporting on the county development, they have to quote, where are they on this specific SDGs that they are reporting on? So this function is already in the county, and some counties have even gone ahead of having a full department of SDGs, like Mabweni County. They even have a task force for the diseases and other stakeholders, the civil society, the Council of Governors, and the national government on SDGs. So all the counties have been able to implement these SDGs because of the county integrated development plan. So if you go to a specific county, just go to economic planning and ask for the monitoring and evaluation section. That's where usually you'll be able to get the idea of what they are doing on SDGs. And all the line ministries, they're implementing SDGs. And usually when they do their quarterly report for the CIDPs, they report to that department on the implementation of SDGs and other programs within the county. Thank you very much.
Yes, do we have other questions? This is your time to engage.
So, hello, sir. Thank you so much. First of all, the presentation was really amazing. You had some very vital information. So personally, I'm a champion of SDG. I've passed through the county integrated development plans of my county, Kwale County. That is 2018-2022. I've also passed through the medium term plan 3. I've also passed through the vision 2030 and the government's the president's big four agenda. So my question comes you say that there are champions for SDGs in these counties, of which they are directors of State Department of Economic Planning, you know. So as being a decade of action, actually it brings me a question is there a possibility of having a specific unit that can be able to deal with the sustainable development goals? Considering that these people, first of all, they are not youths, they have gray hair, so they don't understand most of these things. So my question is is gray hair the curriculum vitae to be in such kind of thing, considering the fact that youths have the power to provide a lot of creativity and they are reason towards acceleration and implementation of SDGs. Number 2, data. Recently the government has passed a bill towards governments to do a collection of data in their counties, but we've been having issues in terms of collecting quality data. You know, when I talk about quality data, I mean, yes, we have 10 million people, but you don't know how many people are languishing in poverty and such kind of things, you know. So that has been a big problem. So my question comes, to what extent is the government trying to integrate non-state members in terms of participation of data collection? That is question number 2. Question number 3, recently we've had stories to do with food security problems. Currently, it is a big crisis in the country. The country has been able to reduce the amount of production of maize, maybe from 44 million to 34 million. So you have a deficit of 10 million. So that brings you a very big question on where we are going in terms of food security problems as a country. So my question goes by like this: to what extent is the government, or what are the indicators of people and development strategies that the government is setting to ensure that we curb our food security problems? And to what extent is the government trying to get away from conventional production to organic food system productions? Okay, I'll remember the other questions.
No problem.
Answer. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, thank you very much. What actually you asked as the first question, and I think Arnold will agree with me. It came as a question in one of the forums we had December last year in Mombasa, on how can these counties have a specific department on SDGs. And just to give a feedback on that, the Council of Governors is developing capacity. Some counties have gone extra mile, as I mentioned, to have such kind of a department. So some counties, the Council of Governors together with us are going to lower level. Actually, I'm just from Busia this morning, doing capacity on these SDGs in the economic planning, in the 14 default functions of government. So first of all, we have approached this in the idea of capacity. First, letting the relevant agencies and stakeholders in the county to understand what is this mainstream of SDGs. In relation to their structure, where will this fit in the SDGs? So that is something that came out last year in December in the Stakeholder Forum for SDGs. And what we tell that we need first to go back and make sure there is that capacity at the county level. Do they really have that capacity? Do they really have those, let's say, technical planners in the ground who can be able to implement? So it's a process that's really started, and a lot is happening towards that. And first of all, we have started with capacity building, also to realize where are these gaps, where can they be able to come in to fill this gap, and where can maybe there is some technical expertise that might be needed to fill this gap. So it's something that came out clear that this has to be there. This is needed in our last year's as outcome of the forum, and the county government are really welcoming. They welcome the idea, and we are moving around to capacity build them towards that, to capacity build and comes to reporting, localization, and all that. So it's a process that has really started, and it really needs some kind of effort, collaboration with different partners for these councils to have first the capacity to monitor these SDGs and the capacity even to hold such a department and their link with the National Secretariat on SDGs. And just to mention about the issue of data, I'm very happy that you are passionate on SDGs to an extent you have gone even to understand the genesis of SDGs in our planning from the vision all the way to CIDPs and the annual development plans. There was a cry of data. And there's this term they are calling citizen-generated data. It can be administrative data in government. It can be a performance data from a specific stakeholder, like civil society, CSOs. So the government, through the bureau, brought together all these stakeholders, like the civil society, the private sector, even the decision for the county government, and came up with a strategy, what I was talking about, on how can these statistics, the system generated be officiated to official statistics. What are some strategies to be followed for this data to be adopted by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics Standards to be used as official statistics? Because what SDGs only, we monitor official statistics that are there in the national SDGs indicator framework. So the civil society has already raised the concern, the government relevant agencies have raised the concern, and that strategy is almost how we should be able to guide us to see how can this data be able to, if you have your own data, you connect your research, the procedure is out. Where can you be able to approach? Where will you be able to approach? And how will you be able to actually who to approach, the process to the stakeholder to bring on board, the procedures, the questionnaires to fill for those other data to be approached. So that's actually something that's in the pipeline, and it's almost towards its finalization. When it comes to the idea of food security in our view, in the planning aspect, it has interlinked with different other sectors of the economy. It will have its impact on health, education, and other sectors. When we came up with the economic recovery strategy, this idea came out clearly that really we are in poverty. We really need to move away from these traditional ways of food security and the rest. So how is this been evaluated is that this thing has been within the mandate of different government agencies. It's only that we are going to an extra mile, along with that strategy, to an extra mile on see how can we, this thing is the idea of partnership. How can we bring relevant stakeholders on board to be able to support in the technical capacity, to be able to support in resource mobilization to support this. So that one has been captured, and it is really outlined in the economic recovery strategy for COVID-19. And that one has been also been integrated back into that's what we are calling the county economic reengineering for social and economic recovery. And we have integrated that to all the 47 county governments. So when you go to the Council of Governors, you can be able to see that we have the reengineering economic strategy. For every county, there are specific situations, there are comparative analysis issues of ways how they can recover from this COVID. So a lot has been done on that on the government side. It's just that the implementation has just initiated, and the problems have been solved as they come. Any other?
Yeah. Thank you for those responses. Yes, Ali, I see that you have a question, but before that, for the online participants, do we have someone who would like to speak? If there is someone, please raise your hand. We'll see and allow you to speak. Meanwhile, Ali, you can make your question very brief. We want to close on time. Yes. Anyone else has a question? So your question will be 30 seconds. This one will have 1 minute, but make yours very brief.
Okay, thank you. Article 43 of the Constitution speaks about socio-economic rights. Currently, they say certain statistics that by this year we have 1.2 million graduates, of which only 54 will be accommodated in the market, considering the fact that by 2019 we had 2.6 million people, young people who are economically productive that were not employed, So my big question comes here: to what extent is the government trying to infuse
or create that socioeconomic balance, because we have a big problem in terms of creating a social impact as well as an economic impact. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. A lot is being done on the same, and that's usually you realize we have these flagship projects. And when you see a key flagship project, the key aspect is usually the position for us employment. Every flagship project we adopt, the government adopts, is usually the key aspect is socio-economic development. So we actually have to we usually look at programs that have multiplier effects, key to the other sectors of the economy and to our lives as young people. A lot, like now when we talk about what we are talking about, the city being constructed, techno policy in Machakos County, what we are talking about. Another key flagship projects like the SDR and all these key projects usually for sustainability of our employment workforce, we have to come up with this. We usually target the flagship projects as key. And secondly, one of the key employers in this country is the private sector. That's why we have issues of the special economic zones. Usually, we have even gone to an extent whereby some private sectors have been accepted for some different taxes for them to be able to absorb our young people, employment regulations. We even go to an extent whereby now for employment, there are some regulations who to be included. Our young people have been captured. Women has been captured, and our people living with disability. So we are targeting on programs that have a multiplier effect and that be able to capture these young people. And a lot of policies and strategies are also coming in place, and they're already in place, being implemented to capture the projected population social demographic impact to our development. Okay.
Yes,
yes,
you can ask a question very briefly. We will take 3 more questions and then we'll go.
Okay, my question is I'm referring to that youth in the grassroots who has a great initiative and any one of the SDGs, and they would really like to implement that initiative. So, what would be the process for that person to really implement that? Yeah.
So, thank you very much. I believe every initiative have a specific sector of our economy that's addressing. It might be a girl child project, a health project. So usually those relevant stakeholders in the ground to be able to approach for this. Like for example, the Minister of Health in that county. You just have to you can approach it in 2 different ways. You can approach those government agencies operating in that county that are really trying to implement that and partner to achieve the same. Or also there are also some stakeholders, the civil society, who are implementing the same on that or in that county. You can partner with, and we will always be able to. The government is always ready to receive that kind of idea. So first of all, try to, when you're implementing a project, which sector are you addressing? Is it a gender issue? Is it an issue focusing on the youth? Is it an issue focusing on health? It's an education issue. Then just align yourself to the relevant line agencies or for the county government or national government within that county.
Hello, sir. Just a quick question. You talked about mainstreaming and coming from S.R.H.R County. So I was to ask about how from where you sit. I know you don't sit in the Council of Governors, but you partner with them in the realization. Has there been like a public discussion forum in my county to enlighten the people about SDGs? Because I realize you cannot access or you cannot go to an office to ask about the implementation, whereas you don't even have the knowledge. The sensitization and the training, the fellowship to have you who can champion for the same. So the question is about sensitization there.
Thank you very much. Just to answer that, actually you mentioned the almost one of the most performing counties when it comes to SDGs. Like it was like 2 weeks ago, we had a capacity building workshop for Marsabit County ministers and other high-ranking level officials on SDGs. Marsabit County has even got an extra mile of they are now working on voluntary local review for SDGs. What is Marsabit County doing when it comes to SDGs implementation? So Marsabit County usually we have started capacity building. We are done with where we train planning officers and budgeting officers sometimes back. We are done with the CC, that's the ministers of the county, and they even go to a level where they are now working on that report. Where is Market County visa implementation? So you just have, if you maybe have something to share about SDGs in this county, where you just approach the planning department, as the monitoring and evaluation department, because it's our planning department, we have a very strong contact person in that county. Just approach them and see how we can partner, bring your ideas on board, how we can be able to reach the grassroots level. So that's the strategies we are looking for, and we will appreciate your input as well people within Marsabit County also on that. So just approach the planning department, just see the monitoring and evaluation department, and you'll be able to be guided on this. Thank you.
There's two more questions. So this one and this one.
So, thank you so much for your insights. I have a question that relates to what my sister asked or later. Okay, in SDGs, do they have a role like for example, me, I normally champion for climate change in my county where I come from, because most of the people are pastorally with them, and they're much affected. So, is there a chance do SDG consider the champions in those counties and even create a role for them? Yeah, apart from now what you're doing right now, like the youth voice and
Yeah, there is a way, because I told you in our structure of SDGs coordination, we have the civil society captured in this, and we have the SDGs Kenya Forum, usually bringing all these stakeholders together for us to be able to hear their voice. So the best approach to this is now you bring this on board through your respective umbrella bodies, or you can even partner with the SDGs unit with the SDGs focal person in this county and other key areas. But for these are like usually when we have the forum, the civil society usually capture all these stakeholders, young people in the county level, colleagues who are organization working on this, like the host for today, organizers for this forum. So you bring this on board, and you can come to your county, that is the SDGs champion, or you can come to even the civil society through the umbrella body, so that you can be able to keenly participate and follow. Once you have that interest, you always have that room, and you always have that information. So you come to the civil society at the SDGs Kenya Forum to bring your idea on board, or the SDGs center in your county, and we will always be in this process, and we are always there to work with you on this time.
Yeah, thank you so much. I believe we are moving on, right? So my question is just specific. When you talk about the medium-term plan for, which is actually, it was launched previously by the state of planning. Not quite sure of how the youth organization can engage, especially at the national level and at the county level, in terms of even documenting their voice. Because previously I stepped to the State Department of Planning and Treasury, and I was told that the convening is done by the county commissioners. But I don't know how you can help on that, or maybe you can get in touch after this.
We can get in touch after this, but I can just give you just a snapshot of how this is structured and how these voices usually come in. When MTP4 is being worked on in sector working groups for relevant ministries, and every sector usually brings on board their key stakeholders in the drafting of things from the civil society. If now it's youth, we have the National Youth Council and other key youth focused organizations, they are in that task force to be able to contribute. Even at the county level, we have county consultation forum through the office of the county commissioner. We have also, even the Ministry of Youth has still grassroots at the county level and even national. So they always participate. All the government arms that are related to that agenda, and the civil society will always participate, and their voice will be heard on this, both at the sector level and then the county consultation forums level. Any other?
So I guess stop it at that because of time. Since there's another program coming in at 2 so that we honor our promise of keeping time. So at this point, I just allow you to have a seat for a moment, and then I welcome Sam. Sam, please, you can give your closing remarks, and any other thing you'd like to contribute. And then after that, we can have and then we close.
I don't have anything to say other than let's just start, right? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. So that's it. Yeah, that's it. Let's do it.
Thank you for telling us. Let's just do it. Let's do it. That's very specific and brief. So, Mr. Doctor, you can share with us your closing remarks, and then after that we'll do a group photo, and then we will finish up the session.
Okay, thank you very much, Arnold. Colleagues, just as we wind up, we really appreciate, I think I'm loud enough, I can try. Sorry. We really appreciate, colleagues, your time, your passion for this agenda. This is where our future as young people is like. Try to see where you can participate. Bring your strategies on board. And the team, as I echo what Sam has said, let us do it. Let us participate. Let us come out. Let us preach the gospel. Always let your voice be heard, and you always have a hand somewhere that is supporting this agenda. So as SDGs coordination in the country, we are really committed to that, and we will really support all those stakeholders that are here. So if you have as an organization, as a person, maybe in the operating a group in the university or even in your villages, on the process, let your voice be heard. Come with a clear strategy that will be able to save us from the social problem and be supportable to be able to enable us to achieve this agenda. So colleagues, let us bring our heads together, let us identify our interests, let us align our interests, because we will always find them in the 17 SDGs, and we will be able to achieve the agenda. So thank you once again for your time, and we will walk the journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Could we clap for him properly for sharing with us? To prepare for this workshop, I did a letter to the principal secretary for the State Department for Planning, and he referred me to the director of the SDGs Directorate, who told me that why did you put a session on a weekend when we do not work on a weekend? So seeing that they were able to actually dedicate time and come on a weekend, it's a great honor, and to share such great insights. You've covered everything quite comprehensively. I tried to give a snippet in the morning before you came, but I know you have exhaustively tackled all the issues that the young people would have wished to hear in this short time. We hope to engage you again next time. However, we'd like you to take a message to the director that we appreciate your efforts. We appreciate that you went out of your way to travel and come directly to this forum and share with us on SDGs. And also, these materials that you mentioned, we had also gone to their office and requested for reading materials. They actually gave us those materials. So for those ones who did not get, we have some for you. Every one of you can get one so that you can go and read more about the SDGs. I love that people get the booklets, because that is how the Champions for SDGs initiative started. because I was given a present of a booklet at a workshop on reproductive health. I shelved it for a year, and then when I was going through my things, I came across it, and then I saw, this is a good idea. Why don't we educate others about SDGs? And that is how Champions for SDGs came to place. Thank you so much, Yali, Alumni Chapter of Kenya, because I see that you're with us online and that you sent a message and said glad to join in this informative session. Yali is a program that I went through. I'm an alumni of it, and it's alongside the American Spaces, which is hosting us. There are programs that are there for young people to utilize to educate others. So we appreciate the early alumni chapter. We also plan to do an activity with you to reach all the alumni in Kenya and across. We hope to actualize it soon. Special thanks to each and every one of us for taking time to participate both online and in person in this session. We hope that you found this session informative. I have sent a feedback form in the chat section for those who are online. For those who are here in person, we are going to send it to you on email. We send you the feedback form. Basically, it's this link in the chat section, but we'll send it to you so that you can tell us which topics specifically would you like us to address in the coming session. And then you'll tell us what did you not like about this session and what you also liked, so that we see how to make them best fit for your audience. That would be it from my end. On behalf of the American Spaces which are hosting us, they also sent their regards. They have provided us with the venue, the seats, the resources, the Zoom platform. We appreciate the support, and we hope to continue working together to reach more young people with information on sustainable development goals. So at this point, allow me to welcome us all. Welcome us all for our group photo, just at the front, so that we can finish the session. For the online participants, we thank you so much, and we hope to see you again next time. Thank you.